has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall Coast. Boo. People dressed in plastic bags, ready to traffic, some kind of fashion show get up, stupid. Oh, my friend to come around, flat to party up. Rats on the west side, bed bugs uptown, but a mess is tied to my brains. Splattered all over Manhattan, it's only rock and roll, but I like it, yes I do, but I like it, yeah, sure do that. Oh, whoa, whoa, I think I might have called something from Keith. Hey, what's gigging? I'm Ferrall, along with the boy Carver High this afternoon. Mafia running it with Luke, I am your father. Birthdays on a Misery Monday, Peyton Burdick, 27, Jacob Truba, 30. Barclay Goodrow, 31. Chandler Canizaro, 33. Hector Rondon, 36. Darius Hayward-Bay, 37. Lee Na, 42. Robert Mathis, 43. Tim Thomas, 47. Mark DeRosa, 49. Marshall Falk, 51. JT Snow, 56. Joe Mullen, 67. Badass. And Adrian Dantley, another badass, 69. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Well, the Nuggets beat the Warriors at the Chase in the City by the Bay, 119-103. Joker with a triple-double, his third straight, 32, 16, and 16. He was dealing as usual. We've got footage, and he didn't get many birthday presents from his teammates. We'll hear from the Joker. We welcome our radio affiliates, SiriusXM Channel 159, our satellite partners, and Sports Byline and their radio affiliates. Deepak holding it down for us in San Fran City by the Bay. Good to have you with us on a Misery Monday, coast to coast. I'm Ferrall in New York. NBA MVP odds, we got them for you. The Warriors give Steve Kerr a 2-year, $35 million extension, and I thought he was leaving. He's leaving the USA after Paris. I thought he was leaving the NBA as well, but now a 2-year deal. He couldn't turn all that money down. So he's going to coach at least 2 more years. There you go. I'll eat the hoagie. Thunder beats the Rockets 123-110. Abe Lincoln, another block, setting up a Shai Gilgeous bucket. We got it for you. How about Abe Lincoln? First player to ever have 150 blocks, 150 assists on 100 three-pointers in a season. He did it in 57 games. Chet Holmgren. The Bucks beat the Sixers in Philly 119-98. Dame and Giannis were going off. Doc Rivers talked about returning to Philly. We'll hear from him. Gabe Morency joins us this very hour from Vancouver. The Suns beat the Lakers by 10 in the Valley. LeBron talking about why the Lakers are only shooting 8 free throws in the game. Of course, they didn't like the calls in the game. Suns expected to host the 27 All-Star game. Pacers beat the Mavs 133-111. Wow. Cavs over the Wizards 114-105. Wizards covered. Hawks beat the Magic 109-92. Ice Tray out 4 weeks after surgery on a torn ligament in his finger. The Bulls beat the Pelicans 114-106. Jazz over the Spurs 128-109. Hornets beat the Blazers 93-80 at the Moda. Kings over the Clippers at the Crypt 123-107. Fox had a big game. We got the Clippers rebranding their entire organization for next year. New unis, new arena. They get it all going. Jimmy Butler among 5 players suspended for the Heat Pelicans brawl on Friday night. We've got NBA unders. And tonight's games, Toronto, Indy, Detroit and the Knicks, Brooklyn and Memphis, and Miami, Sacktown. That is the offering tonight in the NBA. St. John's upset Creighton at the world's most famous. They blew them out 80-66. Creighton was sleepwalking. They didn't show up for the game at all. That was the worst performance by Creighton all season. I mean, they literally just didn't even care. They're like, whatever. We don't even want to play this game. They played just like a team that didn't want to play at all. South Florida beat SMU down in Tampa to clinch a share of the American regular season title. Memphis beat Florida Atlantic. It looked like FAU ran out of gas in the late stages of that game. They were in that game up at the half and then just kind of fizzled out. Purdue beat Michigan, but the Wolverines covered. Zach Edey won't be back at Purdue next season. He's not going to take the COVID year. He's going to join the NBA draft. He had an enormous game in Chrysler, 32-16, blocks galore. The guy's a freak. Ohio State upset Michigan State at the Breslin in East Lansing by 3. Marquette beat Xavier 88-64. You see, Xavier just keeps getting spanked in games, and yet I keep hearing Sean Miller's up for all these jobs. Sean Miller's done a terrible job at Xavier in his return to Cincinnati. And remember, he cheated so much at Arizona, they brought the FBI in on it. I mean, he didn't just cheat. He cheated so much the FBI came calling. And then he ran home to Cincinnati. And now he's going to get other jobs like Ohio State. You got to be kidding me. Seriously. Saturday, Houston beat Baylor in overtime. They were down 2 in overtime. They actually trailed only once in the game, and then they still got it done, and they covered. Everybody says Houston can't score. That's another fallacy. They can score whenever they want. They dunk a lot. I know that. Wake Forest beat Duke 83-79. Everybody saw what happened. We're going to hear from John Shire on Filipowski's injury during the fan crush, the storming of the court. Kansas State beat BYU in Manhattan. North Carolina rolled Virginia in Charlottesville. Kentucky spanked Alabama. That's the most points you've seen Kentucky put up against a ranked team in a long time. UCF beat Texas Tech in Orlando, and UConn handled Nova easy, 78-54 in Stores. Houston is the new number 1 in this week's AP Top 25. Purdue, UConn, Tennessee, and Marquette round out the top 5. We got it all for you. College basketball's best and worst against the spread, over and unders, title odds. Jay Wright says Ohio State's a great job, but he's done coaching, doesn't want the job. Caitlin Clark with a triple-double leads Iowa over Illinois. She's closing in on Maravich. Tonight's college basketball games of note, Miami at North Carolina. Miami's season has gone down the toilet. West Virginia and K-State. And Baylor's at TCU and Fort Worth. That's the game of the night at 9 o'clock. We got Coach Young on the lion's share and his favorite plays for tonight. Plus, Davis Lee Roth-Matic will join us from St. Louis to talk baseball, free agency, and some of his plays for tonight in the NBA. Today in Carver High history, you know we're going to do it. Juan Soto goes opposite field for his first Yankees home run. He hit a bomb today, too, off the wall that drove in 2, and then he took the rest of the day off. Cody Bellinger is back with the Cubs, a 3-year deal, $80 million. We got central odds. Ohtani will make his Dodgers spring debut. Tomorrow is a DH. Senga gets an injection in his right shoulder for the Mets. We got NFL Combine this week, plus Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider, will join us today from Philly. You name it, you get it. Hockey, Wild Game Sunday. We got 4 tonight to talk about. Join us. It's time for Coast to Coast.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
The first unanimous number 1 team this season in the AP poll, which is the kiss of death. True. Right now, given what we've seen winning on the road in college basketball, it's a kiss of death to walk in there as a unanimous number 1 team in the country. Everyone says you're awesome. Everyone's telling you how great you are. And you go up against a coach, a coach who has your number for the most part.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Guess what? Rock fight alert. Rock fight alert. Look at this Missouri-Tennessee score at the under 16. 1-0 Missouri. What is that?
Watched the entire Penguin game on Sunday. Been watching a lot of their games. I feel like we're seeing the end of the empire. There's talk of them maybe trading some big names.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
If Tibbs can find a way
to get the Knicks rolling again as everybody comes back, folks. They are going to shoot up the Eastern Conference standings. They're at 33 wins. I think the Knicks have a chance to maybe, folks, ready? You think I'm crazy? They could get all the way to 2. It is not out of the question.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
BetMGM is for everyone that loves sports betting. Everyone. But Tom Brady.
Wait, what?
You've won too much, Tommy. Let others play.
So I'm in if I'm not Tom Brady?
You're in. Now dog me.
What if I used to babysit Tom Brady and he was a little troublemaker?
No one likes a snitch. Well, you're in.
What if I'm the Tom Brady of spreadsheets?
You're in.
What if I'm Tim Birdie, 7-time pool champion? The dress-up's not helping, Tom. It's still a no.
Hey, Tom.
Hi, Wayne Gretzky.
I thought it would be bigger.
Download BetMGM. Except you, Tom. You've won enough.
So BetMGM's just giving away money. It's the most incredible thing ever. Use the bonus code SG150 if you want to get your hands on 150 in bonus bets. All you have to do is download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android. Get involved. Visit BetMGM.com. Sign up. Open an account with $5. Place a bet, $5. Standard odds on anything. Win or lose. They're giving you 150 Flambitos. 150 in bonus bets immediately. Once you open the account and make that $5 bet, you're good to go. So for $5, you get 150 in bonus bets. Make sure you use the bonus code SG150. Well, Carver High, the Nuggets continue to roll when the Joker's having triple doubles every night.
They certainly are. And it was a very busy Sunday, Scotty, in the NBA, right? Tons of games all day long, and we should start with the Nuggets and the Warriors last night. Joker, of course, getting together with Steph and the crew. 119-103 was the final. How do these numbers sound? 32 points, 16 boards, 16 dimes. Your boy Joker was everywhere on ESPN.
And as I mentioned, 11-0. Oh, it's a block lane. That's no good. Jokic. KCP for 3. Yes! And the Nuggets are lighting it up here.
And that's the triple-double, that long assist.
I mean, he just does it all. He makes everybody around him better. It's real simple. That's why they won a title, and that's why they're running for another one.
And, of course, last week, Scotty, was the Joker's birthday. He turned 29 just a week ago. So, coming back from the break, did any of his teammates get him anything nice for his birthday? Of course not. Why would you get the Joker anything? He's only the reason why you all have championship rings. Here we go, ESPN.
Your birthday was last week. These guys get you anything?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Bad teammates. Bad teammates.
Terrible teammates.
Terrible teammates, yeah.
Well, Nicola, congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you. Man, George, you would think that one of his teammates would at least buy him a new horse or something. I mean, one of those new trotters.
Yeah, he loves those. Scotty. He loves those horses. But I'm a little surprised no one got him a gift on his birthday. How unfortunate.
Like I get it. I mean, all these guys have got tens of millions of dollars that they make every year. What could you possibly get the guy who has everything? But I mean, I think the guy was right. Get him a horse. You can never, if you're a horse owner, you can never have enough horses in the stable. You always got a chance to gain more and more. He is the MVP, unquestioned right now, I guess you could say, Scotty, on the betting board as you look. Minus money for the Joker, minus 155 he's at, but Shea Gilgeous, who we'll talk about in a moment, is still plus 240.
Well, I think Shea Gilgeous has been way more exciting for my money than the Joker. I think the Joker goes about his business every night, per usual, hands down. It's just ridiculous what he does. I won't deny his greatness. But this guy, what Shea Gilgeous has done every single night, and they win every single night, and what he's done to make everyone around him play they're the youngest team in the NBA, and they're playing like a dynasty team. They play way above their age. They play way above their talent. They win everywhere. They blow everyone out. He is the face of the franchise. He's the best player on the team, and he just has made everyone else so phenomenally better that I think he's the MVP. And then I actually believe underneath it all, there's a current for whiny crybaby B to get it, because the NBA cannot get enough of Luka Doncic and his exploits and his 70-point games and his he shows off. He's so good. He's a show off. And they love this guy on national television. And I'll tell you what, they've been playing great ball and they win a lot. I know they lost to the Pacers, but they had won 7 or 8 straight games. And you don't want to play that backcourt in the playoffs of Irving and Doncic. They're the real deal, and they really are good together. And that's a team you don't want to play. I would put them at the 5 right now of the 5 best teams in the West. I would put them at the 5. But with those two, they can beat anybody. You get into a series with them, and the other night they had 70 points together. And they're capable of that, 35 each, 40 and 30, every single time they play. You cannot guard either one of them at all.
I even saw people, I was watching the Knicks-Celtic game on Saturday night, Scotty, and they were pumping up Tatum for MVP. Him and his 19 points on Saturday night. They were pumping him up during the Knicks game. So
they've replaced him as the face of the NBA over LeBron. They think that Tatum is the new face of the NBA and that LeBron is it's over. He's, there's all this talk of him having a is he going to have a farewell tour? Is he going to do a Tim Duncan exit? It sounds to me like his days are numbered and that they're already looking for the next face of the league. And Tatum's like, yeah, I'll do it. And no one can guard him either. That guy's unstoppable. And their starting 5, as a whole, a core 5 is the best team in the NBA. I think, for my money, I think Denver's about Joker and Murray. And the rest of them you could live without. But that Boston team, all 5 of their starters are sick. That's the best starting 5 in the NBA.
And that is why they are the favorites right now to win the entire thing. You did mention at the top the Warriors thing. I was surprised like you, but I guess it's hard when you're giving them $17.5 million over the next 2 years. I guess that's hard to walk away from if you're Steve Kerr. So I was very surprised like you, but that's a lot of money.
I was floored, and I was wrong, and that's it. I do believe that his he's already quitting Team USA after Paris. He's done with that. And I think he's sick of dealing with Draymond Green. That's why I felt he would walk away from coaching and his bad back and everything else. You have to understand where I see things is this guy's accomplished everything there is to accomplish in the NBA as a player and as a coach and internationally. What hasn't he got? He has medals, rings, multiple championships as a player, multiple championships as a coach. I see, no reason for him to continue. And obviously, I believe Draymond Green is a pain in his keister, and he won't admit it ever. And it's written all over his face. He's sick and tired of Green.
But the funny thing is that I guess in the end, it's the moral of all stories is that money always changes everything. Everything comes down to money. When someone wants to pay you more than anyone, you're the top paid guy. Same thing with Reed. They're giving Andy Reid more money than anybody in the NFL. He's not walking away from that. Money talks, always.
Money talks, especially if, maybe the wife wants another vacation home, maybe something in the skiing area. Maybe they need a new vacation home. So, hey, $17.5 million. That'll get you another one of those. The Thunder beat the Rockets 123-110. Let's quickly sneak in. Actually, we'll hold off on Chet, Scotty, because we want to take some time with Chet and the Thunder because they've been so good. Your boy with 150 blocks, 150 assists, 100 threes, and he only did it in 57 games. He's the only guy to ever do it. I'll give you a cut from him later on and SGA as the Thunder continue to roll.
Well, the thing that's funny about Abe Lincoln is that he's got no chance at all for Rookie of the Year, even though he just did something no one has ever done before in the history of the NBA, and he gets no juice whatsoever.
Though, because this team is hot garbage. I mean, poor Jacques Vaughn. Talk about just wrong place, wrong times.
I mean, the reason that they parted ways with Jacques Vaughn in the first place, this is a team that, yes, they had Kyrie and KD at the beginning of the year last year, but they were still a team that made the playoffs. They were still a team that took the game off the 76ers. And going into the All-Star break, they weren't even in the play-in picture.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Just watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Johnny's a 19-point lead late in the opening half, only to squander that lead. Hall ball under Shaheen Holloway coming all the way back.
All these guards start jacking up shots, and then Chioriano doesn't get the ball. Hey, Rick, how about stop throwing your kids under the bus and get your big man the ball, your best player, play inside out like you were doing earlier in the game, and you probably would have won.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, Morency joins us every day on Coast to Coast from Vancouver. So I just heard you say something about Brock Bowers, and you were talking about Harrison Jr. not going to the Combine, that it would affect him. And I disagree. He's going to get drafted in the first round, no matter if he goes to that Combine or not. He's the best receiver in the draft, no questions asked, and he's better than Bowers.
I don't know if he's better than Bowers, to be honest.
Oh, sure he is.
If you, I wouldn't. I think Brock Bowers is better personally. If I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I would take Brock Bowers ahead of Marvin Harrison. And it's nothing against Marvin Harrison. I'm not going to disagree that Marvin Harrison's the number one wide receiver. It's not as wide as a gap as people think it is. But put it this way, like Brock Bowers is sort of kind of locked in to go 5th overall, right? We have quarterbacks going with the top 3 picks. Arizona drafts 4th. So Marvin Harrison's expected to be the 4th overall pick in the draft to the Arizona Cardinals. Like you said, whether he shows up to the Combine or not, except if you're Arizona and you weren't in love with him as much as everybody else is. Just because everybody else says you're going to draft this player doesn't mean that you are. And Brock Bowers he's next level, Scott. I mean, this guy is a next level football player that I think will have a bigger impact in the NFL than Marvin Harrison Jr. will. And I know those are strong words, but Brock Bowers is that good. Yards after the catch, explosiveness. He's a tight end. You can get wide receivers. Tight ends like Brock Bowers don't come along all that often. Bro, he's a combination of like Rob Gronkowski and Travis Kelce. He was the best, put it this way, bro. He was the best player on the best team in college football for the last 3 years. So that's all you need to know about Brock Bowers. So, like, if, he might go 5th to the Chargers. I'm saying if I'm the Cardinals, I would think long and hard about bringing Brock Bowers in and having that security blanket for Kyler Murray to throw to a guy that's just open more than 7-Eleven is, man. This guy's open 24/7, bro. He's that good.
Well, we all know how good Harrison is. We don't even have to talk about it, but I will talk to you about that Combine. I think it's the most overrated waste of time ever. Like, what could he possibly do at the Combine? Have a meeting? Have a conversation with some front office suit about what? When you're that good, you don't have to do it. How about all these other players? They're not going to work out at the Combine. All the best. Daniels, Williams, they're not going to
I don't agree with Daniels.
Why even have them there? Don't even come if you're not going to work out. We don't even want to see you. It's all a waste of time.
What it really is, it's not a waste of time for the 3rd rounders, the 4th rounders, right?
I would agree with that because they don't matter.
It's not, well, that's how you win and lose Super Bowls, Scott. You don't win and lose Super Bowls with the top 3rd pick in the draft. You win Super Bowls. Teams that win Super Bowls do a great job, so I'd say it would matter.
I think
if
you
don't draft well,
guys that need to get drafted in those later rounds. I'll give you that. But guys that are
if you don't draft well from the 3rd to the 7th round, if you don't draft well from the 3rd to 7th round, you're not going to the Super Bowl. You could show up blindfolded and pick in the top 10, right? Everybody knows what the top 10 picks of the draft are. The teams that win are the teams that find Brock Purdy in the 7th round, right? The teams that win are the teams that are able to find guys that are successful
they didn't
in
win
that
with Brock
3rd and
Purdy.
4th round. Well, they made it to the Super Bowl, and
but they lost. I've been hearing how great that guy is for so long now. And
well, you really think that they lost the Super Bowl because of him? You really think they lost the Super Bowl?
I didn't say that. I just said he didn't win. He did not win, and we know who won. He didn't win. And he's Mr. Irrelevant and all the rest. He didn't win. Now what? Is he gonna go get it next year? Is that what's gonna happen next? He's gonna go win it next year. He had his chance.
What I'm saying is it matters that teams draft well, Scott, in the draft.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
The Combine, if you're a top player, I understand Caleb Williams. You have nothing. If you're the number 1 pick, I get it. You have nothing to gain. You have everything to lose. If you don't do this well or you don't do that well, then suddenly people are looking at you differently. Jaden Daniels a little bit different, right? But I'm not going to disagree, Scott. More and more the Combine, what it is, players want to get paid, bro. Point blank. They figure, like, listen, you want me to come and do this for free. I have nothing to gain from this, really, and you have my tape, right? And they all do the pro day now. That's their thing. You come to me, I'm going to work out with my guys in my element. But Jaden Daniels, another story, bro. I think he has something to prove. Like, if the guys are going to do something here, Scott, they're going to climb the board. It's as simple as that, right? They're going to impress people. But I'm not going to disagree with you that the combine as a whole doesn't mean anything like what it used to. And to be honest, like a lot of coaches and some teams, they don't even go anymore. Like the Rams don't go to the combine. The Cowboys aren't going. Well, I should say they're going to have some people there, but Sean McVay doesn't go to the combine. Mike McCarthy's not going to the combine. But then you had Belichick that sat there every day in his binoculars, right? So it's different for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. And I don't argue with any of that. I'm just saying, like, look, I think great teams, and you and I have been doing this a long time. Great teams are built through the draft. Fair enough. Great franchises have their plans in place of what they're going to try to do and accomplish in the draft, whether they go to Indianapolis or not. I think Indianapolis, what you said earlier about those late round guys that can get noticed, and we've had this conversation with Kaplan, guys that have a big week at like the Senior Bowl have more of a chance to get drafted because of that week of performance and workouts and practices and performances.
Which often is a mistake. It is true.
Jumping up to reach a stick in the air. I mean, and taking that stupid Wonderlic and those stupid other tests. And what did C.J. Stroud do? He failed it, and he was the best player in the NFL this year for a young kid. So
that's a good point.
Indianapolis is so overrated. And you sit there and tell me yourself that half the guys that matter in the NFL don't even go. I mean, that's embarrassing.
But what you just said, Scott, is something I think is big. Drew Rosenhaus has advised all of his players not to take any of these tests. The Wonderlicks, the SAQs or whatever the hell they're calling them and all that type of stuff. He said, just don't do it. He just tell them point blank, I'm not doing that. And, it is ridiculous, bro. But you're right. Look, the Senior Bowl, you do well at the Senior Bowl, you're going to get drafted higher than you probably should have. Right? I mean, look at Tony Mandarich. We're going back a ways. Remember him? He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated and stuff.
Sure.
He was the combine machine, bro. But it is true, Scott. There's going to be a guy that lights it up. You interview well with the GMs. Like, put it this way. If you're J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan, all right? You won the national championship. You're 27-1 as a starter. You could say, listen, I got tape. Check it out. By the way, I won a national championship. No, you show up right now. And you're already projected to go like 11th or 12th. All right, Minnesota Vikings 11th, Denver Broncos 12th. If you're J.J. McCarthy, you have a good week, Scott. Next thing you know, bro, you're being drafted 5th. Look at Daniel Jones, right? Like, it does matter, these interviews. I don't disagree with Marvin Harrison. He's a number one player at his position. He thinks, I don't need to prove anything to anybody. Fine. But my whole point was, Brock Bowers at 100-1 is a bet that I'm playing to be drafted by the Arizona Cardinals 4th. At 100-1, bro, if I lose, I lose.
Well, I mean, that if you hit it, you're laughing all the way to the bank. Look, I don't question Brock Bowers. They're both the best at their position in college football. No one would argue that, and if they did, they'd be wasting their time. Harrison was the best receiver in the country, hands down. And Bowers has been the best tight end. Bowers reminds you of Kelsey, of Kittle. He's got all the skills and size and speed and power. He's big. He's ripped. There's no questioning it. And then, we'll see how it plays out. If you hit 100-1 bet, I'm for that every day. When Carver High hit a 90-1 first-round leader at a golf tournament, I was happy. Whenever anybody hits
$20, bro, 2,000. $20 for 2,000.
I mean,
not to mention trades could happen too, Scott, with Arizona as well. Maybe Arizona doesn't keep that 4th pick because teams are going to be calling them for sure, right? They're going to have an opportunity to drop down a little bit. So my whole point is, when it comes to the NFL draft, Scott, this is how it all started with Harrison. Nothing is a lock, bro. Nothing is ever set in stone with the NFL draft. And anytime you're getting big numbers like this, put it this way, Brock Bowers is expected to go 5th. So it's not insane that he would go 4th. I'm not saying, oh, my God, he's going to go 20 spot. No, I'm saying he goes 1 spot earlier than he's supposed to go. He's favored to go 5th. So I'm just stating, at 100-1, I think it's a good play to go 4th to the Cards.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. What did you think of Patrick Kane getting that ovation in Chicago for 10 minutes and then scoring the overtime winner to beat the Blackhawks. That was crazy.
That's a nice return. Nice return for Kane right there. It's been a wild weekend in the National Hockey League, man. That Boston-Vancouver game was wild on Saturday night. We got more games tonight. I was looking at the card here tonight, Scott. I don't like every game tonight, but the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers, these dudes only play 1-goal games. So this is going to be a close game. I like to get the Kings in a parlay at +1.5. And this is insane, guys. The Boston Bruins, 6 of their last 7 games have gone to overtime. Think of that payday, bro. Some big money, Scott. 6 of their last 7 games have gone to overtime, the Boston Bruins.
So
it wouldn't surprise me if they went to overtime tonight.
Are you betting on them in Seattle to win?
No, I'm gonna regulation tie. I'm gonna play a regulation tie. I think we're gonna have another really close game.
Wow. And who do you like in the Islander-Dallas game?
It's hard not to like the Dallas Stars here. Islanders are kind of
I bet the under 6 at like +1.2 in that game. All right, Morency, great stuff. We'll see you tomorrow, brother.
Fun stuff. All right, good stuff, Scott.
Though, because this team is hot garbage. I mean, poor Jacques Vaughn. Talk about just wrong place, wrong times.
I mean, the reason that they parted ways with Jacques Vaughn in the first place, this is a team that, yes, they had Kyrie and KD at the beginning of the year last year, but they were still a team that made the playoffs. They were still a team that took the game off the 76ers. And going into the All-Star break, they weren't even in the play-in picture.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
You just watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Johnny's a 19-point lead late in the opening half, only to squander that lead. Hall ball under Shaheen Holloway coming all the way back.
All these guards start jacking up shots, and then Cioriano doesn't get the ball. Hey, Rick, how about stop throwing your kids under the bus and get your big man the ball, your best player, play inside out like you were doing earlier in the game, and you probably would have won.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High. We go back to the NBA talk that we had rolling earlier on this Misery Monday.
Yeah, I thought that we did have to give Chet and the Thunder and SGA their due here on a Monday because they were at it again. They were down in this game, too, to this Rockets, Scotty, early on. Came back 123 to 110. About Chet, the block on one end, leading to SGA on the other on Bally Sports, Oklahoma.
This will send a lot of high ball screens out in front. Oh, what a contest at the rim. Chet Holmgren not allowing the dive from Thompson. And Thompson can get up there. He is athletic, and Shea takes a little bump and able to play through it, plus the foul. And that's a big play.
Look, this guy, it's like I said before, he's incredible. And he's having way more fun, if you ask me, than Wembanyama. I think Wemby is phenomenal in his own right, without a doubt. And some of the things he's done with triple doubles with 10 blocks is crazy. And he's going to win all the accolades. But I would rather be on the Thunder winning games every night and experiencing this type of run that they're on. They're going to the playoffs, and they mean business. And the Spurs are going fishing. Okay, so all they do is lose. And all Holmgren has done is experience winning. Winning trumps losing every time. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what awards you win, Rookie of the Year or otherwise. When you never win, and all you do is lose, ask the Pistons how it's going. Ask Detroit Mercy how it's going. Losing sucks. And when you win, that's all that matters. And I guarantee you he could care less about awards. He already knows how good he is, and he's on a winner. So I would much rather be Abe Lincoln, Chet Holmgren, than Wembanyama. I think Wembanyama's better, but if you lose every night, you can have that. I'm telling you, losing sucks the life out of everyone. I don't care how much they talk about how much he loves the game and loves the NBA and everything. You won't love it very long. Ask any guy on that Pistons team. I mean, when Bogdanovich got out of there, you would have thought he got out of the Russian gulag.
The Thunder now 40-17. They are tied for the top spot in the Western Conference, of course, with the T-Wolves. The Bucks, with 2 in a row now out of the All-Star break. They win in Philadelphia 119-98. Big night for Giannis. He had 30. Of course, Doc Rivers returning to Philly as well. Scotty, Dame time to Giannis on ESPN.
3.5 gone by in the third. Lillard into the lane. Lobs it for Giannis. Beautifully done. And a foul. 3-point chance for Antetokounmpo.
I still don't buy him. I don't buy Doc Rivers. And I won't deny what Giannis does and how he plays. And I won't deny what Dame's capable of. We've all seen that, but I have seen way too much losing from this team and bad play. You know what it is for me, Mike? It's the rest of the team. The rest of the team, like, I'm not buying all this, Bobby Portis and Connaughton and the rest of that team. They are not the same team that they were. I thought, without a doubt, in my view, like, Holiday played defense, and they want to chip with him. And they want to chip with Budenholzer playing defense. And Dame doesn't play defense. He just shoots. That's all he does. That's and Giannis does everything. I get it. But that team used to play defense, and they won chips. That's how they got it done with defense. They don't do that anymore. Now they go out. They don't play D. They lose. And they win a couple games, and now we're all supposed to, fall over? Give me a break. Dame Lillard playing defense, please. When does that happen besides never?
Never. Doc back in Philly, of course, for the first time since being fired by the Sixers. Here he is talking about the return and being booed by the home crowd, by the crowd in Philly. Here he is.
It was awesome. I mean, really. Listen, I had 3 good years here. And I'm not talking about basketball. I'm just talking about life. I enjoy my stay here.
More life than basketball.
I have made friends for life from here. Still come in and snuck in a couple times. Got some golf in at Billy Cricket. So, no, this is good.
Oh, yeah?
Good. It's a couple hilarious comments, I will say that. One guy told me to that Larry David is looking for me to golf. So I thought that was a pretty funny comment.
What did you make of the minute reception just when your name introduced the booze you got?
I didn't even hear it, to be honest. And I don't,
I
that
didn't
made me
hear
know
it.
back at home.
Didn't hear it.
Listen, here's the deal. When you make as much money as this guy has made losing, he doesn't care if you boo him. And I have to tell you, you can talk all you want about Doc Rivers. All he ever does is lose when it matters. He only won because he had 3 Hall of Famers in Boston. That's why they won. It was not because of him. I will stand on that till I'm dead. He did not have anything to do with the Celtics winning that crown. It was 3 Hall of Famers that got it done for him. It's always nice to have 3 Hall of Famers on your team at once that get every single minute of burn. And then every team he had was loaded. The Clippers, the Sixers, all of them loaded. And he failed with all of them. All of them. All he did was lose. And they should boo him when he comes back to Philly because he did a crappy job there. I don't care what anybody says. When it mattered most, they have starved for a title in Philly since 83, okay? Since 1983. It's like so long ago, and they brought him in there to win, and he didn't get it done. So I'm not surprised they booed him. He didn't hear him booing. Sure he didn't. Sure.
They never hear it, right? Never hear the boos. Never hear it. Suns beat the Lakers 123-113. Usually it's Durant and Booker, Scotty. Yesterday it was actually Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, even Bol who beat up on the Lakers to lead them to that victory. LeBron afterwards, though, what was the topic of discussion, Scotty? Well, Lakers usually shoot a lot of free throws, usually the most in the NBA, only 8 yesterday. What did LeBron think of the whistle?
Is that something? I mean, that's a big part of what you guys do is get the line. That's a part of
that's who we are. So, but a lot of people just, a lot of coaches, a lot of teams are like, that's all the Lakers do is get to the free throw line. There's like this narrative out there that that's all we do is get to the free throw line. I mean, we have attackers. That's what we do. I mean, we have attackers. Yeah, we shoot the ball from the perimeter, but we're not shooting 40, 50 threes a game. We're not that team. We don't have the luxury of being that team. So, when we're getting to the into the paint, that's what we're really good at. So, to have 8 free throw attempts is definitely not us. And I know definitely I got hit a couple times going to the paint tonight. That wasn't called, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Here's what it is. The narrative is that they go to the line more than anyone else because the narrative is that more people talk about the Lakers unnecessarily than anything on earth. I mean, ESPN spends their entire day talking about the Lakers. All day. That's all they do. In fact, their NBA show is done 5 feet from the crypt. I mean, they knob them like a French hooker. Okay? So the narrative is true because they just talk so much about them. They always get their way. They always get their way. Every day they get their way. And when they cry, they get it even more. They are so average this year. It's not even funny. I hope they enjoyed that in-season girly man trophy they won that doesn't count. That little $500,000 trophy that nobody gives a rat's ass about. The one that no one will ever care about. It's like, we have this big tournament in November. There's only one trophy that matters when they give the rings out. Are they giving out rings for the November title? I mean, what is next? They're going to give out rings at bowl games, the Mayonnaise Bowl. I mean, the college football bowl system is so broken. They give them bags of chips and mayonnaise, honestly. And the NBA in-season tournament, what a savior for the league it's been. I mean, what would we all do without a in-season Laker championship with that phony-ass little tournament? Honestly, where they got every call. And ESPN sets up their show to talk about the Lakers all day. Oh, my God. If you can't see that they do that, then screw you too, honestly. I'm sick of hearing about him. I'm sick of hearing about him. I'm sick of hearing about his kid who sucks. I said yesterday on In-Game Live, listen to me closely. That girl Juju that plays on the USC women's team, she's 10,000 times better than that hack-ass Bronny James broken-ass game of his. She is Kobe Bryant, second coming of. She's the most exciting thing I've ever seen on a women's basketball court, and that includes that white girl in Iowa that shoots 50 times a game. Greatest scorer in the history of basketball, never won a chip. That Juju girl out in L.A., born and bred, playing for USC, her Euro steps better than any guy in the NBA. I mean, that girl glides like Kobe Bryant. That girl, Caitlin Clark, couldn't guard that girl if she tried. And you can quote me on that, too. I'll take that sister over that white girl any day of the week. That girl lights you up. Take your dinner. Sleep with your date.
The Suns also are going
Ronnie
to get
James,
the
shut up.
2027 All-Star Weekend.
He's awful.
He needs time. Needs time to develop.
Here we go. Let's get him some more publicity. Let's get him some more NIL money.
Need him time to develop.
He couldn't even play with the guys I play with.
Probably not. The Pacers did beat the Mavs. You mentioned that 133-111. Cavs beat the Wizards 114-105. Hawks beat the Magic. Bad news for the Hawks this weekend, though, Scotty. Trae Young out 4 weeks at least. Surgery on the torn ligament in his finger. So no ice tray for a little while for the Hawks, which means bad news for them. They suck anyway.
They couldn't win an NBA championship if all of his fingers were replaced with bionic fingers. They suck with it.
Very true.
They suck
That's
with it.
true.
And then they spent the entire year we heard they were going to trade DeJounte Murray, and they didn't even consider it at the trade deadline. They didn't even think about it. But all the experts said, oh, DeJounte Murray, landing spots. I mean, if you watch these blogs and websites that do stories every day, 500 million, trade variations. Christ, you'll go dizzy. Yeah, I mean, you might as well do crossword puzzles. Where landing spots for Russell Wilson? Landing spots. Everybody's got landing. Where's LeBron? I heard the other day, Sidney Crosby, top 5 landing spots. I mean, it is so bad now, sports journalism. It is so broken. It is so broken. I can't even take it. Where I'm going is, I don't want to hear about the Atlanta Hawks. They're awful, and they've been awful since before Christ. They will never, in the history of the world, win an NBA championship ever. And that crybaby-ass Young, he's another whiner and just constantly crying to the refs. And he breaks down, and they suck. They don't matter. Doesn't matter who their coach is. You know what's more exciting? Watching Quinn Snyder go nuts the other night and try to attack a ref. That was better than the game.
Bulls beat the Pelicans. Jazz beat the Spurs. Hornets beat the Blazers. And the Kings with a win in LA over the Clippers last night, 123-107. I have Clippers are actually rebranding, Scotty. I will wait until after the break to give you that. New unis, new logo. Of course, they're moving into that new Shangri-La in Inglewood at the Intuit. All new stuff for the Clippers. We got to get through this year first, though.
Oh, yeah. And you know what's great about the Clippers is like yesterday, that's what's going to happen to them in the playoff. They always lose. So, everyone that's betting on the Clippers to win the crown, I hope you like losing money.
Though, because this team is hot garbage. I mean, poor Jacques Vaughn. Talk about just wrong place, wrong times.
I mean, the reason that they parted ways with Jacques Vaughn in the first place, this is a team that, yes, they had Kyrie and KD at the beginning of the year last year, but they were still a team that made the playoffs. They were still a team that took the game off the 76ers. And going into the All-Star break, they weren't even in the play-in picture.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We just watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Johnny's a 19-point lead late in the opening half, only to squander that lead. Hall ball under Shaheen Holloway, coming all the way back.
All these guards start jacking up shots, and then Cioriano doesn't get the ball. Hey, Rick, how about stop throwing your kids under the bus and get your big man the ball, your best player, play inside out like you were doing earlier in the game, and you probably would have won.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Yeah, I would rebrand too if I were the Clippers, Carver High, because in Los Angeles, even if they win, they don't matter against the Lakers.
It is very true. You need to kind of change everything up. They're getting out of the crypto starting next year. Of course, Ballmer's built that enormous new Intuit over where the Inglewood complex is. Here is what they will look like, Scotty, and a new logo for you for the Clip Show. Look at that. You like that? Little script. Different color blue. You got a little red in the mix there. New logo. New Clippers.
It looks like a boat compass.
It does look like a boat compass. It definitely does. But there you go. Maybe, hey, nothing's worked for, 40, 50 plus years of Clipper basketball.
Yeah, forever.
Might as well try again. Forever. You might as well try again with a new look, new arena, new everything, and we'll see if they can change things up out there. That's for sure. With the Clip Show, Jimmy Butler among 5 players suspended for the Heat Pelicans brawl Friday night. That actually was a pretty good one. We don't see too many good ones. They get busted up fairly quickly nowadays. But the Heat Pelican one on Friday night actually had a little sauce to it, a lot more than that Warrior Hornet one that also went on Friday night, Scotty. But no Butler now tonight for the Heat.
Well, I mean, 2 fights in one night. I enjoyed it, and we ran clips on In-Game Live of Draymond Green, the cat calling the kettle black, giving advice to Grant Williams about how crazy he is and how he's getting in fights was laughable, coming from the most insane jerk in the entire league who's been in more fights and more incidents, stompings, flailings, sucker punching teammates, throwing elbows, smacking people in the face. What doesn't Green do? And then him giving advice to Grant Williams is laughable.